Welcome back to the Higher Paradigm YouTube channel and podcast. I am your host, Laura. This is the last episode of season 1. I can't believe it. I just went through all of the episodes, and so far, I am thrilled to share that 142 views, listens through YouTube or Spotify or Apple. I cannot believe it. Altogether, 142 views and listens. And I'm just so excited. I mean, that is such a great place to start, in my opinion, and I'll take it. And I'm really looking forward to continuing on this journey. So in this episode, I want to close out this season, sharing a little bit about where I'm at and what's going on in my own healing journey. And I also want to share where this podcast is heading. This was a great first season where you guys got to tune into a little bit of who I am through my beliefs and where I stand on things, my perspective, how we need to really focus on tending to our own needs, our own healing, our own process, what the world is mirroring back to us, what we're being shown we need to do inner work around. I recognize that every episode comes back to that. When it comes to abundance, if we are feeling lack, what is the internal belief systems that you are operating in? And how can you cultivate more abundance with everything that is in this moment instead of always seeking more and more and more? So requiring inner work when we're talking about the stuff going on in the world. We're talking about feminism and we're talking about being a feminine in our society today. What else do we discuss? Plant medicine. All of the things that we discussed. What are you being called to get curious about within yourself? What are you being called to reflect upon, to observe, to evaluate within yourself, to connect with those parts of you that need love and tending and attention? Of course, I shared a lot of my journey, my healing journey in real time this season, and what wisdom came from the healing that I've done. We've talked about the rejection wound, which I still believe so much of our wounding as human beings in general all stems from a deep rejection wound, whether it be you've been rejected, you're afraid of rejection, you've rejected parts of yourself. This is such a massive wound that I think so many of us, if not all of us, to some extent carry. And depending on your life experience, I think sets the tone for how much this particular wound plays a role in your daily life and in your ability to follow your dreams, your ability to show up in new spaces, to make new connections, to connect with your loved ones, to connect with yourself, to follow through on your goals, to hold yourself accountable, to take radical responsibility. All of these things, it all comes back to how much do we believe we are worthy and able, and what parts of us are we rejecting? What parts of us are afraid of being rejected? So we show up in spaces, we show up in life, sort of letting that run the show without even being consciously aware of it. So we dove into that a little bit, a lot of it. I think that episode was one of the longer ones. I'm not sure. I can't remember. They were all beautiful episodes. And I'm so grateful that I could share this information, this wisdom, these stories myself so vulnerably with you. And the whole purpose of this is to share and for my followers, my viewers, my listeners to feel seen, to feel validated, to feel connected, to feel like a breath of fresh air, like somebody is out there that gets what I'm going through, or somebody is out there that is speaking a truth that I'm so afraid to speak, but I agree with. And oh my gosh, it's refreshing. My role on this planet is to speak truths that maybe a lot of us are afraid to say. I am here to activate others into feeling empowered and confident and safe enough to speak your truth despite the fear. Know that you're not alone and recognize that we as humans are so powerful and capable of overcoming and healing literally anything. So I know that you guys only heard some of my story so far, and there's lots to come. I've been embarking on this healing journey, and I've probably shared this 100 times now, but whatever. I've been embarking on this healing journey for the last 5 years. And prior to the last 5 years, my life was a mess, living in trauma cycles, living in addiction, and essentially the addictions that I had, the substance abuse, the anger, the hostility, the rage, the unpleasantness that I lived in was all a shield of protection from the world. I had this tough exterior. By using drugs and alcohol, it was a way to escape the fear that I felt around being who I truly was inside. It was an escape from facing my pain and taking accountability and responsibility for what I endured. Yeah, but more or less how I coped with what I endured. This is segueing into where I'm at right now and what I'm experiencing. So when I got sober, I quit smoking cigarettes. I stopped drinking. I started doing the healing work. As I started to heal my nervous system and I started to feel more safe in my body, interestingly enough, my body started to put on weight. I'm doing everything that I know to do. I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I feel really good. I have great energy that I never had before. So I did not understand this, but what I've come to realize in the last few weeks is that my body has been holding on to this weight because of fear. If I have a great body and I lose weight or I look good, I feel good, then people are going to hurt me. So I realized that my body is holding on to this weight to protect me on an energetic and emotional level. And I had to go into the trenches yet again. It's interesting because this year I have gone through the trenches of deep, deep healing. And I've peeled back so many layers through the years, through the last 5 years. But these layers that I've been peeling back this year are especially depthful. And that makes a lot of sense because you have to work your way to the root of all the things that have been playing a role in your life, but keeping you stuck. So, of course, we have to start at the surface of things. We have to peel back the layers like an onion. And I feel that this year I am at the center of that onion. And it's like we're peeling back the layer of that core. So there's multiple things that I've worked through already this year that I have been able to also recognize, wow, my capacity to hold space for myself and this healing and these versions of me, these parts of me, and do the deep work while I also show up in my life and business has grown substantially. When I used to go into the depths doing it and had the guidance and support and was being trained on how to do this by a mentor, a healer, it was all encompassing. It was taking up all of my attention. Whereas now we're in these deeper, deeper, deeper layers, getting to the root, remembering things from childhood and even bringing up ancestral healing. And it feels simpler. Why? Because I have worked my way to this point. I know how to navigate my nervous system. I know how to titrate and pendulate through the experience of healing and through the experience of sensing and feeling with ease now. It's just simple, the process. And with that simplicity, gives me more space and room to hold duality for this while also creating a podcast, while also formulating a plan for the rest of my business and doing a lot of back end stuff. I put together an annual whole wellness expo where health and wellness and spiritual entrepreneurs come together to showcase their work as vendors, and they teach classes and things like that. We teach classes and things like that. I am a part of the event as well. So there's been a lot on my plate for the last few months while also diving deep into these layers. And it just amazes me how quickly I've been able to work through these layers. And it's not like I'm bypassing anything. I've been trained so well, but also practiced this so consistently that I know how to meet myself where I am. And I know how to meet these parts of me. And I really know how to tune in and intuitively listen and do what my body's asking for, do listen to what these parts of me are saying, hold space for them, remother them, love them, do the healing with God, with the ancestors and spirit. And I'm so grateful. Circling back to what this was about, this fear coming up that if I lose the weight, then how will I be able to protect myself? Because if I lose the weight, then people are going to hurt me. And this comes from my childhood trauma and being sexualized and abused and assaulted and harassed and gawked at as a female, and also not having anyone protect me when these things would occur or the aftermath of it. There was no protection. But I also realized that this is an ancestral wound. And I had these layers of self abuse first before I could access this fear of having a good body, being beautiful and radiant in my most radiant self. First, working through these layers of self abuse that go back 7 generations. This perpetuated into my life, into my childhood, into my relationship with my body, but also my relationship with myself as a coping tool for the trauma I endured. There was a lot of body image and body weight issues all throughout my childhood. I don't know if I've ever shared this yet, but I also have, aside from being a recovering addict, I'm recovering from eating disorder. I had a degree of anorexia, but it was more or less bulimia for a good portion of my life. So I had to work through where this came from and how this came to be, which I will share more descriptively in the second season of the podcast. For now, I'll just share that I got to the core of this wound, of this fear, of this belief around my body. And it was multifaceted. There were different ways that I protected myself. And all of those have melted away. I no longer use substances to protect myself. I no longer use eating disorder to protect myself. I no longer isolate the way I used to. I no longer project anger and rage and try to act like a tough ass when I'm really a delicate flower inside, a very highly sensitive woman. And there's so much strength in that. And I recognize that now. So what's left? What's left to protect me? And my body believes it's the weight. The weight will protect me from getting hurt. So I had to go into the core wounds of the weight and how it's protecting me and all of the beliefs about weight and body image that began right around when I started puberty. And oh my gosh, there's so much to that. Again, this is something I will share more in depth with you guys in the second season of this podcast. And I very much look forward to it. But for now, yeah, this is some deep stuff I had to work through. But all in all, what this journey has also allowed me to reclaim is my relationship with my body in a healthier way. This is something I've been growing and entering into for the last 5 years, cultivating more love within myself. Self-love has been huge, but the ego is a really tricky part of us that knows how to inadvertently make us think that we are thinking differently and we're speaking to ourselves differently, but really it's just a different version of the same thing. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to catch it and be like, oh my gosh, this whole time I thought I was talking about one thing, but really my ego was still playing out the same old story that I'm not good enough, or shame cycles, or self-hating dialogue. It's really freaking tricky. And the ego will find a way to keep you in that safe place that feels really shitty in whatever way it possibly can. So fortunately, I've reached a level of self-awareness that I was able to see that despite how loving I've been speaking to myself, I've been also afraid to be honest with myself about wanting to lose weight because I didn't want to say that to myself. I didn't want to speak that to myself and say that there's a problem here. No, I love me exactly as I am right now. No, I'm perfect just as I am right now, which is all true. But that doesn't mean that there's anything bad or wrong with wanting to be healthier and the healthiest version, and that requiring weight loss. That's what I mean by the ego's been tricky. I'm no longer saying negative things to myself, but now I haven't been addressing the actual problem or saying, I want to lose weight because I don't want to take on this belief that instills shame. But I was inadvertently shaming myself, like not acknowledging the problem, not acknowledging what I know I need. So I had to get honest with myself and say, this is still not okay, and accept where I am always in this moment, but that I want more for myself. I want better health because this is not just about some desire to have a sexy body. which that is part of it. Of course, that's okay too. That's the other thing. I had to recognize that it is okay to want to feel good and look good. There's nothing bad and wrong with that. It is for what though? Is it for you? Is it for your health? Is it because you want to be your best self? I want to feel good in my body. I want to stop feeling inflamed all the time. My knees have been sore and inflamed, and it's been a challenge. So those are reasons, but I also do want to feel good in my body and I want to look good, but I want to do it for me. I want to do it for my body. I want to do it for all those previous versions of myself that suffered with eating disorder, that suffered in fear that if I'm a certain weight, shape, size, whatever, I'm not lovable. I want to do it for the versions of me that were told that they need to be on Weight Watchers, that focus primarily on weight for the sake of like comparisons with their girlfriends or comparisons with your mother. No, we're not doing that shit anymore. This is why we're doing it now. We're doing it now to feel good in our body, to give our body the love and the nourishment and the nurturance and the health that it deserves and desires. So there's a big difference between the two. Wanting to be thin, to have control, to receive love, to be looked at a certain way for insecurities, whatever, versus I'm doing this for my body because I'm so grateful for my body and it is my vessel. It's the one and only vessel I have. So I want to give to it. So getting into that frame of mind was a beautiful journey. The other part of this was the word discipline. For the majority of my life, the word discipline has felt really yucky. It's been associated with shame and punishment and bad and wrong. And you did something wrong along this little journey here. It's clicked into place that discipline actually is holding yourself accountable, structure, stability, self-responsibility, consistency. And those are all the things that I've been doing healing work around in the masculine. So that's the other thing too. It used to hold a toxic, unhealthy masculine energy. And now it's holding a healthy masculine energy, which is what we all need as males and females. We need a good balance of both. I've been leaning so far into the feminine flowy, but the feminine is an energy that needs to be held. It needs the container that is held by the masculine. So if we want to be in true flow, we have to be able to hold both. We have to be able to honor both. So what that looks like for me on this journey is because I'm all about cycle syncing and intuitively listening, moving, honoring your body. So we're holding the structure and the consistency of the masculine, but we also are honoring the feminine and the tuning in and the intuition. Anyway, so it's been an interesting journey and an interesting unfoldment. And I look forward to sharing my journey along the way with you guys on social media. I've been sharing in my stories and stuff about what I'm doing and when I got started and how I'm feeling and things. And it's been beautiful so far. I've only been doing it a week, but it has been beautiful. I have not been feeling deprived as far as food. I feel like I get to eat a lot. Actually, I'm doing a calorie deficit, but I eat a lot more than I was. It's just about the foods that you choose and also daily movement. Of course, I was moving most every day, but yeah, for women especially, it's important that you're moving multiple times throughout the day. So anyway, I look forward to sharing more of this experience, this journey, this healing process that I went through with you guys in season 2, which brings me to what to expect for season 2. So we're going to switch things up a little bit. I'm still feeling some things out, to be honest. What I do know is that I will be sharing channelings and journal entries with you from my journal of things that I have channeled from God, from my ancestors, from ascending masters, from spirit in general, information that I've channeled and have documented in real time as I was channeling, and also information that I channeled and I documented through a voice note and transcription. I will share some of my own personal healing journey and self-discoveries and the things that intuitively open up the wisdom, the knowledge, the awareness, the healing that happens through journaling. Journaling has been a humongous part of my life. I've been documenting my life through journaling since I was 10 years old. I won't be sharing all of the stuff from 10 years old or even high school or anything like that. I don't think. We'll see. We'll see where the wind, where the guides, where God, where my intuition takes me. I feel that the divine is kicking me in the butt at this point it's time to start sharing all the things that I've been channeling from all of the guides and angels and spirit and ascending masters and God and what's for all of us to hear and my own story. So that's going to be a lot of season 2. There will be other conversations that I have sprinkled in there. I am also feeling called to potentially interweave breath work, meditation, a little bit of practice into this YouTube channel podcast. I know for sure it's going to be the journals and the channelings. The rest, we will have to just wait and see, but I'm very excited. I should be getting started on that within the next few weeks or so, but in the interim, I am also getting my class that I've mentioned a couple times now on this podcast, Somagetics, into the virtual space, which I'm very excited about. We're in the planning and preparation phase of getting this into pre-recorded practices. The intention is to create these Somagetics practices pre-recorded so that you can do them in the comfort of your own home, at your own pace, whenever you want, whenever you feel called to it, whenever you feel ready for it. And they will be themed. So the breathwork meditation will be specific to a particular area of healing or area of energy work. As an example, a pre-recorded practice that's focused on feminine empowerment. Emo teen angst. Like, we put emo in the practice. We dance, we move, we shake, we breathe to emo. Yeah. Let's do it. Rock rage. 90s rock. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, so that's what we're doing with Somagetics. So look forward to that. To stay connected about all of this, because we are doing the pre-recorded practices, but I have the intention of, once the pre-recorded practices are done, I will be teaching live virtual via Zoom practices. So this is going to be really great and it's super exciting. So you want to stay connected on all of this. I suggest you get into my email list. You can get into my email list by going to my website, scroll all the way to the bottom. There might even be a pop-up that pops up when you go to the link, and subscribe to my email. Stay connected. Or you could stay connected through social media. I will share all this information, as I always do, in the show notes below. Also, in the interim, if you at any time feel called to dive into ancestral healing, nervous system healing, subconscious healing work, I am your girl. Reach out to me in email, in the comments below. You can, again, go to my website, check out all the work that I do, all the one-on-one opportunities to work with me. And everything is in person and virtual. So everything you see, if you aren't local in the Western New York area, we can certainly connect via Zoom. If doing the deep healing work calls to you, if parts of my story call to you, these topics or areas of healing that you need to do the work around, I'm here for you. I would love to connect with you. So definitely feel free to reach out to me. And again, I will leave all that information in the show notes. But for now, that is the end. That's all I've got. I'm really excited about what the future holds. I'm really excited to see where this podcast YouTube channel goes. Thank you so much for being here, for listening in, for tuning in, for watching. It is such a delight to be able to share in this way, in this platform. I hope that you plan to stay with me and stay connected. And thank you so much for a great first season. Much love and many blessings to you. See you next season.